Finally, Lacrima the Crimson Tears is officially here in-game 1 day from this recording, and this card changes everything. Don't worry if you don't understand how this card works. I'm going to talk about in depth and show some deck lists on how this card can be utilized in any single deck that you want, and some examples in how it's being used in top tier decks in the TCG and the OCG. So let's go into the front page of MasterDuelMeta.com. You can see the upcoming selection pack, and I'll be looking at also the app update and some of the new features and some of the leaks. So I'm going to open that up, move it over here. And now, what is going on over here? We have Lacrima, Mermail, Evil Hero, and Argo Stars in this new pack. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by PolyBuzz. This app has over 10 million downloads and over 20 million AI characters for you to talk to. You can even talk to my Valentine and get some dueling advice. Yes, can I ask you a few questions? What do you think of Floodgate cards? Surely Mai wouldn't be a fan of floodgates, right? Okay, that checks out, but what does she think about Max C? Oh wow, she wants to duel. Do you think you could help me duel sometime? That sounds great. I need all the help I could get. All right, boys, we're in. Let's see if we're a good dueling partner for Mai. Okay, I think we're going to have to finish this chat later. If you want to talk to Mai or millions of other characters from your favorite anime or even make your own, download PolyBuzz from my link in the description below. Find your perfect AI dueling companion to keep you company while you make your way up the competitive ladder. Remember to keep both hands on the duelist at all times during this ride. Now let's get into why Lacrima is so good and will be changing everything, which you're going to officially see on this Friday on twitch.tv/Decade in a $1,000 tournament qualifier stream, where all the Mad Lads are going to be whipping their Lacrima out just for that event. I cannot wait. So let's start this off looking at the TCG top tier deck, Fimith. How was Lacrima being used in this deck? So let's showcase a quick little example as I highlight the cards here. All you have to do is put two bodies together to make a Moon of the Closed Heaven, and understand that any deck can do this. Or, even better, you can now, with Magical Musket, any of your magical muskets that are fiend-like monsters, which is all of them, you can go into full wham bam thank you ma'am combos. So for this deck, for example, if we have a Moon in the Closed Heaven from two of any bodies, you're going to turn it into a Requiem. Then Requiem is going to summon from the deck, not an engraver. We're going to summon the Lacrima Crimson Tears. Lacrima Crimson Tears will then send from the deck to the grave an engraver. And then you're going to use Engraver Engrave to reborn itself onto the field. This is where you now have two different choices to make. You could turn the Lacrima Crimson Tears into a Necroquip Princess here, and then you could overlay the Necroquip and the Engraver into a Caesar. But you may be thinking, we could already do that. Well, we're not done. Not only do we have two special summon negates from that play, we also have a play with Fimith in Paradise. Because Lacrima, during the opponent's turn, has a crazy effect. It's got the quick effect of whenever you want within the graveyard, she's going to be returning herself back in the deck to special summon a Link monster from the grave back in the field. So since you didn't go into sequence, everything's in the grave, ready for you to be using it. So you could reborn the Requiem, and then Requiem is going to, during the opponent's turn, summon the Lacrima that you returned back in the deck, which is now on the field again alongside your Caesar, and then she's going to activate sending from your deck to the grave a Fimith in Paradise. So when your opponent special summons a monster while this card's in the graveyard, you're going to banish this card, and then you're going to send a Desiree from your extra deck to the grave, which will then trigger to send a card on the field to the grave, and that's alongside your Caesar. As you can see, that's why they're playing two Desirees. So that was option one of just going into a Moon in the Closed Heaven. You could even just normal summon a Light Fiend, which could be a Lurie. This could take up your normal summon, and then you still have the full combo because the combo itself does not require you to use up a normal summon. And in addition to the other plays I'm going to be telling you, just to give a little highlight here, I'm going to be showing you that you can go into an Apollo, you could go into a Desiree, and here's what I think is quite spicy. You could go into any rank 4 Xyz, any level 8 synchro or any level 10 synchro without using up your normal summon. So that means you could normal summon a Luri or through any means whatsoever go into Moon of the Closed Heaven and then go into anything that I just promised you. And we're going to talk about that within this video. So if you're a Centurion player or you want to make a rank 4 Xyz Granite to search for a block dragon, possibly you want to maybe now be playing Fimith in your deck, or if you want to be adding a Baron de Floor to any deck you're playing, stay tuned and I'm going to show you how you could do that. Now, back to our option number 2, where we turned the Lacrima into a princess. Instead, you can put the engraver and the Lacrima engrave to make a sequence, and then sequence is going to be fusing with the graveyard because you now have a ton of different materials engraved. You can go into your Desiree. From there, where normally you would need more bodies to actually go into the Desiree play. So on field, you now have a sequence and a Desiree. Well, you're going to put the Desiree engrave and the sequence engrave for a Link 3, the Agnumde. Agnumde Link 3 has the quick effect while on the field. So you could do this during the battle phase if you want to attack first, but if it's your first turn, you're going to activate it targeting the Desiree to reborn the Desiree back on field, and then the Agnumde is going to equip onto it, and then you're going to use the sequence engrave to also additionally equip onto the Desiree, and it's going to be up to, I think it's like 5,800 attack untargetable, negate up to 5 freaking cards on the field. That is absolutely nuts, which you can now very easily do in any single deck, a giant Desiree. That's going to be because the Agnumde says the equip monster gains 600 times the total link rating of cards. So yeah, it is 58 because that's 5 links, which is going to be plus 3,000 on top of the 28, 5,800 non-targetable, and you're going to non-target negate. That is great. And then if something were to happen in your combo and you're able to use the Lacrima to reborn the Agnumde back in the field, again, you're going to be able to reborn Desiree and recycle it all over again. So what else is good? We have Magical Musket, which, as I already was telling you, you could just now turn any of your muskets into your Requiem to go into the Crimson Tier play that we were just discussing. Now, what is an example over here? An example here is you could play Chaos Angel in any deck where when we end up with a Lacrima and an engraver on the field, you could just very simply, boom, Chaos Angel right then and there. But it could be better to first turn the, let's say, engraver into a Necroquip Princess, so that is now a dark monster. So you get the benefit of it being dark plus light to get the true benefit of Chaos Angel to banish any card on the field. What other benefits we have here? We have now the level 8 synchro play. This one's a bit spicy. So you're going to go through the normal play of getting your Lacrima engraver on the field through any way of making a Moon of the Closed Heaven into a Requiem, or if you just have a Light Fiend monster, you can normal summon it like a Luri. And then once you have the Lacrima and engraver on the field, you're going to go into a sequence. And then the sequence is going to be activating to fuse, and you're going to make a Lacrima, which is banned in the TCG, so they don't know about this play. The Lacrima on field is going to be reborning from engrave the Lacrima. And now on field, you have a sequence, a Lacrima, the big Lacrima, and then the small Lacrima. There's Cremas all over the place. Now, you're going to turn the Fusion Lacrima, try to follow me here, and the sequence into a Lina. You what, mate? And then you're going to equip the sequence onto the Lacrima Crimson Tears, the female version of Lacrima. And then you're going to send the sequence plus the Lina to summon a Chorizo. And now Chorizo is a level 4 tuner. So the Chorizo plus the Lacrima, and mind you, this play did not require your normal summon, you now get to put them together to make a level 8 synchro, the Primus. Now, instead of sending the Lacrima Fusion for the Lina, why not just send the Lacrima Crimson Tears instead for the Lina, and then you'll end up with the same play, but instead a level 6 plus a level 4 tuner. So with the same exact play that I just described, instead of making a level 8 synchro, you could now make a level 10 synchro. You can make a Baron de Floor, which actually requires a tuner, unlike the Chaos Angel. And instead of making a Primus, you could also make a rank 4 Xyz. So you have a rank 4 Xyz, a level 8 synchro, or level 10 synchro, all through just being able to summon a Moon of the Closed Heaven. Now, the TCG can kind of make a play like that, but it does require their normal summon. But for Macedol, we don't have to worry about that. Our normal summon is not needed, so you could just normal summon Lurie. I know I'm repeating that. I just think it's insane that you could do that. So what else do we have here? We have an example where they're playing a level 10 synchro. This mad lad, the fabled Levi Lazabul. So as you can see here, through any way to get into the Fiendsmith play, they're going to be able to Chorzo and then synchro at the level 6 into the level 10 synchro, which this build's kind of weird. They're using White Dustin to turn into an Anima, which will be the spellcaster requirement for Chorzo. So if you want to see this deck right here, and here is a recent deck, Draco Tail, super top tier in the OCG. If we were to look on the tier list here of the OCG, Draco Tail that is. And Draco Tail, just a random top tier deck, just teching in the Fiendsmith cards here. And by just randomly teching in, if they at any point are able to make a Moon of the Closed Heaven, which then goes into the Requiem, they now for free, essentially, without requiring their normal summon, make a triple material Apollo USA. So you could either go into a Caesar plus the Fiendsmith in Paradise, or if you don't want to play Fiendsmith in Paradise and you also may not want to be playing the Caesar, go into a triple Apollo USA, and then you could normal summon. You could start your whole other part of your deck because there's no restrictions going through the whole Fiendsmith play into the Apollo USA. And just like that, now everyone off of a single Moon in the Closed Heaven or any way to get into Requiem has a triple monster negate. That is absolutely insane. So here's an example article I made a while ago where it showcases pretty much every top deck using Fiendsmith. And we're just going to quickly scroll so I could show you the rogue decks that you could be playing, and maybe you can grab some inspiration here. So we have here, this is like the Fiendsmith Purish deck where it's playing triple Lacrima. You could play something like this. In fact, we just had a mad lad win the Meta Weekly with a deck that I kind of hinted that Lacrima was coming. I don't know if for any of you that got the hint that I kept on saying Yusuf's deck was about to get better, much, much better. And here you go. It's now much, much better with Lacrima. So copy, this is a perfect time. And I hope Yusuf rejoins the event on this Friday if he's available to then whip out the new version of his deck with Lacrima so we could see the top tier plays with that. So that's one version of the deck. We are looking for, here is a Trickstar deck if you want to play Lacrima in it. We have, what the heck is this, an Evolzar deck? Well, this actually is not playing Lacrima, but, so that was already available. We want to be looking for Lacrima here. Valmonica with Lacrima, because, I've been adding anything with Fiendsmith here. And these are all tournament topping decks. We have a Skull Servant deck. Looks like this one didn't even have Lacrima, so if you just want that as a choice. We have over here a Lacrima Dragon Buster deck. So check that out. You could also just search for the article on the website. It's every top deck using Fiendsmith in the search up here, just like that. And what else do we have? We have Cyber Dragon with Lacrima. We have Goblin Biker with Lacrima. Evil Twin with the Lacrima. We have, I have felt so bad, Gianna got baited to play Macedol because she thought Unchained would be good, and it was going to be good with Fiendsmith, but only with the Lacrima release, because without Lacrima, if you go into a Moon in the Closed Heaven and then you summon the Engraver from the deck, you're then sitting there thinking, how do I get this in the grave? Now, that was before Necrocrook Princess came out, but the Lacrima is even better. We have a Super Heavy Samurai. Looks like didn't even use Lacrima, but did use Engraver. Let's keep on scrolling. All these different options here. Absolute insanity. No Lacrima here. A lot of Lacrima-less decks here that were still able to top a tournament, which is quite surprising. And here is a Labyrinth Mad Lad. And then here's the final one with Rescue Ace, which didn't even require Lacrima. So a quick overview. You can make Chaos Angel without requiring your normal summon by just going to the Moon in the Closed Heaven, a triple monster negate Apollo USA mate, a Caesar plus getting the Fiendsmith Paradise all within just one place, so a triple disruption. You can have a 5,800 attack Desiree, super massive, easily summoned, and then also the spiciest part, a rank 4 exceeds level 8 synchro or level 10 synchro from just going into Moon in the Closed Heaven, again, not requiring your normal summon. So what else is with the rest of the pack, as we're also going to go into the app updates? We have Mermail. Now, Mermail is in, it's like, where's Mermail on this card? It says Atlantean. So what we can assume is that the Mermail cards will be coming with the Atlantean cards. And if we look at the deck type breakdown here, there's something unfortunate. It's fortunate and unfortunate. What's unfortunate is they're using Totally Awesome, which is totally banned. That's not cool. And they just got their Bahamut Shark banned. But what's fortunate for us is we have Abyss Dweller, which, I guess we could make that if we want to, and then make it untargetable thanks to the Nept Abyss. And let's look at the OCG, since they also have Totally Awesome being banned for them. So we're going to have to build something more similar to this. What I think is really cool about this deck is you could rip cards out of your opponent's hand. It's not cool if you're on the receiving end, but if you're doing it to them, that's fun. You can also take a quick gander at their hand. Look at your opponent's hand, banish one card until the end phase, so banish their meaningful hand trap to then make your plays. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, that up. Now, what's not cool about that is the barrier statue. Uh-oh. The Diva says target one of your opponent's banished cards that's banished through the Minstrel, and then you're going to add to your hand or special summon a level 4 or lower water from your deck that's going to be the barrier statue. So, yeah, without Totally Awesome, it does seem like this is going to be a totally floodgate deck that rips cards out of your hands. A really toxic deck that I'm going to try to make a video on. I will still, whip it out, and I hope to see it in the event. And then we have Evil Hero. This is very cool. If this card is summoned or a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard while this is on the field, you get to permanently take control of a face-up monster the opponent controls. So on your turn, then their turn, just keep on taking control of monsters. How is this doing in the TCG and OCG, though? We have TCG Stat. Oh, one dude, one guy. Top 8 of a 40-player regional. I didn't know that existed. What the heck? That's like smaller than a local. But nonetheless, this is a 60-card version deck, and I was actually playing this and enjoying this quite a lot. This deck exactly. And I remember summoning this from the deck with the Necrom, and this card in the graveyard could search for like a super polymerization. I remember I was doing something like that. And what else is good here? Evil Assault will special summon an Evil Hero on the field by discarding a card. This card can be treated as like an Elemental Hero Neos when it's on the field to help facilitate going into the Neos Lord, as it requires an Elemental Hero Neos. The Trap was able to pop cards on the field, or not pop, but negate. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Dark Fusion and spells that mention it in your graveyard to negate their effects until the end of this turn. So that was a lot of fun to be using. Let's see what's the OCG cooking though? Oh, second place of a 60-player event, a little bit bigger than the regional. This is a 47-card deck. I did not play it like this. I was playing the 60-card one, but this one I think honestly looks more competitive. I would probably be leaning towards playing this one instead. All right, that's cool. And then what else we have from there? We have Argo Stars. Argo Stars is a deck. It's a deck. It's a deck that's going to be receiving new support that has not been released yet. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think this is playable in the OCG yet, and it's very much needed for the deck to be good. Otherwise, the deck is not too good. If we look at OCGs, actually, it's got a local. That must have been a wild local, a 32-player event. The TCG, it's got nothing, obviously, as you can see there. And this is without the new Synchro, the new Xyz, that is. What I remember from trying this deck out myself, it's all about these continuous traps summoning themselves onto the field and then resetting. And you use that alongside the field spell. It states that once per chain, if a continuous spell activates its effect in the monster zone, which the monster zone effect, I think, is just returning themselves back into the back row, this will then trigger to target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. What's important to understand how this works is if I have the trap on the field plus the field spell, your opponent activates a pot of E, I cannot be Chainlink 2 with the trap to then Chainlink 3, negate your pot of E. That's not how it works. I will only be able to negate something on a separate Chainlink. So let's say you would have to, an example that never happens, you'd have to Monster Reborn a Stratos. So you're activating Monster Reborn targeting a Stratos, and I go, ooh, I'm going to negate that Stratos on summon. So let me activate my trap, and then the triggered field spell will trigger on the summon of the Stratos, and then the Stratos will be negated. So the point is you have to kind of guess ahead of time what you're negating. It is essentially just like Aggregator with Terahertz if you were ever against that or used it yourself. And then it's not once per turn. You just keep on doing that. So that's the pretty cool aspect of that deck. And I think that's it for the new cards. Let's look at the app update and some of the new things. And also the leaks. May 2025 app update, new features. The 2.3 update, sure, okay. New features. The updates to the Dual Live user interface. You know, I honestly should just be in game to show you this, but okay, that looks pretty cool. I like pushing the random button and just, you know, have it on in the background and it plays some games. I do like that it does highlight and show the new pack being used or the new events. And so, you know, I'll try to get used to the new interface here. What else do we have? Now it's going to be showing much more clearly the rewards you're about to get from ranked. And also there's new deck editing features. I don't know. This is like an undo button. What? Why you got to undo something? The ability to undo or adjust auto build settings. So auto build's going to be trash no matter what. But maybe for a fun challenge, it could be, hey, try to win at bronze with an auto duel deck. Maybe something like that. And whoa, that's big. What the heck? Add accessories to your deck. Oh my goodness. I've been hating how to add accessories, right? Am I correct that this is a different way, a better way, right? All I remember is that if I need to add an accessory to my deck, it's really annoying. So hopefully that's not the case, because then I would do it more often. And then what is this? You can auto build unknown cards to be added. Oh, you can have it auto build a whole deck of just normal cards and then duel someone. So your friend could also auto build a normal deck. That would be pretty funny. Probably maybe normal to rare and just have it auto build it. And then, you know, I don't know how much more powerful one person's deck will be over the other, or if that would even be a fun thing. So there you go. New YouTube series through the auto build feature. And then data mine leaks, new event, Dice Rally. So here are the leaks here. These are data mine leaks. These are public leaks, so they're not going to be super spicy. What do we have here? It looks like it is a Duel Links event where you're moving through the boards. Like, what is this? Are we dueling the computer? Huh? What the heck is this? +1 duel at half life points. Do you just duel other people at the same part of your board? I feel like that would be impossible to manage, right? This has to be a duel against the computer event, which would be a first. There was no other events where you duel the computer. You know, solo mode things are not really an event. So this is quite interesting. A rogue-like feature in Macedol. I don't know if you're into that kind of stuff. Sure. Maybe something along the lines of Legends of Runeterra, the Path of Champions mode, which I've never really dived into. We also have leaked new icons. World Championship 2025. Now, what are the chances that Blue Eyes will be winning this event? The qualifier that is to get into Worlds itself. Because, I mean, we now have Lacrima, which I do believe is going to lower the power of Blue Eyes in the tier list a little bit. You know, I predict Blue Eyes will probably drop to 20 to 30 plus. It's not going to maintain 30 plus with Lacrima's release. And then Blue Eyes will be dropping much more once Malice or Ryzeal comes out. That's going to be big time for Macedol. Oh, my Jesus. What else we have? We have a more sleeve. We have new field part. What the heck is this? New field part is here. Lose one turn, back to square one. I don't know what theme that is. And there you go. Roguelike Yu-Gi-Oh! Feeding families. There you go. You know, can you imagine an actual good version of roguelike Yu-Gi-Oh! Or auto chess Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is what Cross Duel should have been? So maybe Konami really should dive deeper into that. Konami did back in the day try their best to make draft work, to the point, if you know drafting from Magic the Gathering, where you open packs and then you have to build your deck from that. A more advanced version is you have to pass your deck around the table and pick from the pack from there. But anyway, the point is they used to enforce the drafting in a YCS. Day one, you had to draft your deck or seal your deck. I forget the difference between the terms. It's between what I was saying, though, of pack opening or passing your pack around. And then only in day two would you be able to play your actual deck you brought to the event. And I don't think people really liked that. Dice Rally sounds nice. Yay. Let me circle back on over to the new pack to see what the comments are here. Great. Lacrima, the day of ruining what already ruined is here. Listen, I'm going to be playing Lacrima in Evil Eye, Magical Musket. These are decks that I was not going to touch until Lacrima comes out. So try to have an open mind of, yes, Lacrima will make top decks like Snake Eye Fiendsmith even better, but you had a deck like Evil Eye not even in the arena to even attempt to get crushed by Snake Eye Fiendsmith. It was so bad, but now it will be a possibility. So I think that's the good thing. You'll still be the underdog, of course, and of course you're not going to be anywhere near as good, but still you're in the playable competitive area. I want to try Atlantean. Okay, cool. And a Bow Wen. Let's chill on that. Speedroid, support Wen, Craft Lacrima, easy skip. I do plan, I would like to make a video at least on Mermail Atlantean, probably not Argo Stars, and probably with Evil Hero, because I did enjoy playing that on the TCG simulators. There you go. That is the video. I would greatly appreciate if you support my sponsor by clicking on the link below. I'd greatly appreciate that very, very much. I'm repeating myself because it's super, super late as I'm recording this right here, right now. I'd like hold my cheese like 6 in the morning. All right, so thank you. I'll see you on the Friday stream of the $1,000 tournament qualifier. We are out.